Welcome to an enlightened hour of interactive talk. This is Guided Spirit Conversations with host Marla Goldberg. In this program, we spotlight guests from all over the globe who have helped others change their lives and will provide you with the tips, tools, and techniques that you need to help you make a difference in your own life. Now, here is Marla Goldberg.
Hello, everyone. How are you? Welcome to Guided Spirit Conversations. I'm your host, Marla Goldberg, and we have a very special guest today, Lee Holden. Lee has been devoted for over 27 years to his career in helping others learn the powerful principles of Qigong. And through his courses in public broadcasting, television specials, workshops, and teacher training, he has helped over 100,000 students heal from injury and disease, calm their minds, and get open to the flow. And I have to say, I did his morning Qigong, and it was phenomenal. So welcome, Lee. How are you?
Hey, I'm great. Thanks so much. I'm out here on a misty morning, and I'm breathing in some good Qi, so I'm getting ready to start our program.
That's wonderful. And yeah, I knew you're in California, and it's so beautiful there in the morning, and I saw the ocean, so you've got that water energy really helping to support.
Yeah, it keeps you calm and in the flow. And that's what we're going to talk about, I guess, today.
We are. Well, we're going to talk about Qigong, all about Qigong, how it helps, how you got started, what your path was, and how you got to where you are today.
Perfect. I love it.
So let's start at the beginning. I know I read that you had something, spiritual awakening at 15, but did that support what you're going into Qigong, or was it another situation?
Okay, so that kind of awakening, I was doing hypnosis and guided visualization for schoolwork and sports. And as I would lie in my bed and breathe deep and relax, not a normal 15-year-old thing to do, but I got really into hypnosis. My parents were into it. So as I was doing this practice, I started to feel all this buzzing and tingling and electricity and energy. And it was so powerful that it really freaked me out. I was like, I had never experienced that before. Nobody had explained what energy in your body was, but I just had this internal experience, and it would happen almost every night. And I would actually look forward to it. After I got over that initial freak out, I would look forward to it. Oh, I get to go to bed and do that thing again. And I'd breathe deep, and I'd slow my breathing down and calm my mind. All of a sudden, buzz, I get all this buzzing and tingling. And it really wasn't until I was in college. Funny story, the class that I was taking, a study of human personality, the psychology of human personality, which I thought was going to be interesting, but it was the most dry, boring class at UC Berkeley. The teacher read from the textbook the whole time. So I was like, forget it, I'm out of here. I skipped class. I remember very distinctly walking down Telegraph Avenue and going into a spiritual bookstore. And I picked up some books on Qigong and energy work. And I was like, that's what happened to me. I walked out of the bookstore with these 3 Qigong books in my hand. And when I got outside, on the telephone pole was that teacher, that author, teaching a workshop the next day at Berkeley. And I went to his workshop, and that's how I got started.
And his name was, or is, because I can't say it. So.
That's Mantak Chia. Mantak Chia, and I came to his workshop, and I was just a kind of a starving student, and I said, hey, I don't have enough money to pay for the workshop. Can I do some work for you? And he put me in the bookstore, and I sold books for the workshop, and that started a long relationship with Mantak Chia, where I actually worked my way up through the system. I became his ghostwriter. I did 12 trips to Asia to write books for him after I graduated. And whenever I went to Asia to study and work for him, I would stop in China and study with other masters as well. So I got a really diverse background over those early years of really diving into the practice in an authentic way and studying with lots of different masters from Asia and really studying closely with Mantak Chia, which gave me a great perspective in these early days. The thing was, when I got home after these travels, I wanted to take all this esoteric wisdom and knowledge that I've been learning and teach it to my soccer player friends, my friends that were starting in Silicon Valley and getting all stressed out and having pain in their neck and shoulders and carpal tunnel, and explain it to them in a really practical, easy way that gave them the benefits without having to go to Asia and dive in deep and sit in a cave for a few hours and meditate.
So did it help them? Were they open to it? Did they say, this is great? Or did you find resistance?
Both. So I found resistance, and I also found like, oh, that's cool. Isn't that practice those old people in the parks do? And it was like, yes, that is one aspect of it, but it's also the martial artists using it. It's the business folks, it's the poets, it's the artists. They're all trying to get into a particular state of mind, which is called flow state. And more recently, flow state has been studying in a variety of different ways in the West as peak performance. Now, the beauty of Qigong is it gets you into flow state in an easy, effortless way. I mean, flow state is really accessed a lot in professional athletes or hardcore athletics or extreme sports. Like, you're going to get into flow state if you surf, a 40-foot wave, or, climb the face of Half Dome in Yosemite. You get into flow state very quickly when your life is on the line. But one of those hacks to flow state is to slow your body down, is to do this moving meditation, which is part of Tai Chi or Qigong that we're talking about. And you access that flow state within yourself. Now, what is flow state? What is flow state? Think of flow state as something that we're all seeking. It's when your energy is elevated, you're in the present moment without trying, and there's a oneness with the activity. When you're in flow state, you lose track of time, and you're feeling like your best self is participating in whatever activity that you're in. So athletes call it being in the zone. And for me, I want people to be able to have access to flow state, their best energy, their best selves each and every day. It shouldn't just be for the professional athletes, the extreme athletes, the artists, but it should be for all of us, because that's when we feel most alive, most connected to our inspirations, and most connected and on purpose in our own lives.
So for those who are not aware of the depth of what Qigong is, or who have never really, the word is out there, but there, believe it or not, there are people that probably don't know what Qigong is. Can you please explain?
Oh, I believe it. I've been teaching for 27 years, and most people are kind of like, Qi what? In fact, saying the word Qigong is probably the hardest part of this practice. So it's spelled Qi, which means that's Qi. That means your life force energy. Gong, as in Gong Fu, everybody knows what Gong Fu is, means an expertise. So it's an expertise at working with your life force energy. What is life force energy? What is Qi? It's really everything. It's the energy of your mind. It's the energy of your emotions. It's the energy of your body. So it has a lot to do with health, healing, Chinese medicine. It has a lot to do with mindfulness and meditation. It has a lot to do with emotional balance. So think of Qigong as less stress and more energy. Now, if you want less stress in your life and you want more energy, Qigong is a wonderful practice to try, because it's going to increase your vitality, and it's going to decrease your mental, emotional stress, so that you stay in a balanced, highly energized, vibrant state of mind and body.
And I, like I said, when I announced you in, I tried your Qigong this morning, and it was like, wow, I was just vibrating and feeling the zzz going on all through my body. It was great. It's something you want to achieve often, at least in my world.
I might have to make a little warning, because once you try it, once you get into the Qigong, it's a little bit addicting, because you feel so good. You're like, okay, when do I get to do my Qigong today? It feels good. It's a natural high from the inside out, and it's really an empowering practice.
And you can do
this
it, what,
practice
short
is
period?
about fourth.
I'm sorry, you could do this practice for a short period of time, or a very long extended practice, correct? Like with meditation, you can do 5 minutes, or you can do.
an
Please.
hour and a half, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have programs that I developed just for that reason, because I know people are busy. I want to give people results in under 10 minutes. I want people to feel their energy and get really good results in under 10 minutes. So what I did is I developed a 30-day challenge, and it's 30 routines that are under 10 minutes that you get to try each and every day and see how it works for you. So what we want to do is develop a habit. So habits shape and form your destiny, your daily life. So if you get into the habit of starting your day or integrating Qigong practice into your day, you're really going to see that there's a shift, that you feel better. I always say that your best self is only about 15 to 20 minutes away. So when you're stressed out, agitated, tense, or tight in your body, there's a practice for you that can shift, or what we call transform stress into vitality. And it really is just about 15 minutes of practice to get you out of that state. Now, these shorter routines are good. 7 minutes or so will help to create that shift. But really, a 15 to 20-minute routine, if you're in a state of stress or anxiety, can do wonders. And it's almost like magic.
Well, I think I've just become, a disciple, because it felt amazing. So when you were talking about Chinese medicine, it has the 5 elements. Do you do different Qigong practices for somebody who has different primary elements in their being, and how would they know what their element
Right.
might be?
That is a great question. So one thing to do, we can look at the element of a season. So for example, summer is fire element. So people tend to get overheated, more emotional, or the element of fire is around our heart. So we can do it seasonally. Each of us has a personality that expresses a certain element, but really we all have all 5 elements within us. So we can do a 5-element practice. That I have a practice, it's called 5-element energy flow. And really you just go through one flowing movement with each elements, and that helps to keep you well-rounded and balanced. And so when we just want preventative health, we want balance, we want to start our day with more energy, less stress, and clarity of mind, you can do a 5-element practice. And that practice is about 20 to 30 minutes. And you get all 5 elements in balance. And then you can go in deeper and say, hey, you know what? I'm really working on this emotion. Somebody might feel depression. That comes from the lungs and the metal element. Or somebody's might, I'm really working with frustration, agitation, anger. That is the liver. And so we can look at the emotions and map it out and give you very specific elements to work on for your condition. And, we have that on our website with all kinds of ways to figure out what element you are and things like that. It's really fun.
And the website is Holden Qigong, HOLDENQIGONG.com, correct?
That's correct.
Perfect.
Holden
So
Qigong.
check out Lee's website and see what's on there. There's a plethora of information and things you can see. And you're offering things as well. I know we're doing this a little bit early in the show, but you have got these wonderful offerings for people to help them with what's going on today, and all the stress that everyone's dealing with, COVID, the riots, the protests. Why don't you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, we got some great free content. What I wanted to do early on is create a free, immune boosting kit. And so we have that, a free immunity kit. And that I just wanted to give away so people could try Qigong, use it. It's really about strengthening your immune system and your respiratory system. And there's about, 2 or 3 hours of content on there so everybody can try it, use it, experience it. And people are really appreciating that, because we want to be empowered. We're facing our powerlessness with this pandemic and all kinds of things going on. And what we're finding is that people are getting really under stress and having a lot of anxiety and fear come up around the pandemic. So it's not even catching COVID, it's all the stress that's going on around it. So if you can do something to decrease your stress, empower yourself, strengthen your immune system, relax and get into the flow, it's extremely important. And when your immune system's stronger, it's going to help you with all kinds of things, not only with the pandemic, but just everything in life.
And as we all know, stress will affect our immune system. So it only benefits everyone to be under less stress, to do something to get them to relax, to breathe, and exercise their lungs, especially because this highly affects your lungs if you should, but so does the regular flu, maybe not in the same way. So exercising your lungs makes amazing. I'm an asthmatic. So for me, I always take the deep breaths and work on breathing. And when I was doing your 20-minute morning session this morning and the beating on the lungs, I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. Because you could, if you when you're congested, beating on your back lungs or your front helps to bring things up. So it's a great technique to learn
Yeah,
just for anything.
exactly. It's an ancient practice of self-healing. The interesting thing about this practice, it comes from a preventative healthcare model. This is true healthcare. Now, how the medicine worked was you would pay your healthcare practitioner while you were healthy, and their job was to keep you healthy. And as soon as you got sick, developed problems, got overwhelmed, your payments go down or you stop paying. So you stop paying when you're sick and you only pay when you're healthy. Now, what is the doctor's motivation? Their motivation is to keep you healthy. And unfortunately, here we have sick care, and nobody is motivated until people are sick. So we have an incredible medicine, we have incredible technology, but it is all geared around sick care. And we don't have a medicine that really focuses on health care. And if you want true health care, this is a practice for you. I mean, it's scary out there. One of the scarier places to go is a hospital.
Oh, yes.
There's all kinds of studies that show that the secondary problems with Western medicine are huge. You go to a hospital for problem A and you come out with problems B and C, and it is the third killer in America is these B and C problems, where we develop problems just by going into the hospital or going into the Western medicine model. So healthcare, if you really want to prevent a problem from arising, this is a practice that has 4,000 years of history behind it, and a medicine that really focuses on health and vitality and energy so that you can stay healthy in your highest vibration, a vibration that resonates with vitality and vibrancy, rather than just waiting till we get sick. And it's, our system is very disempowering, and this system is very empowering.
And like you said, Chinese medicine has been around for thousands and thousands of years. I've studied Chinese face reading, so I've got a little insight into it. And it's just, yes, this is great to be able to empower people, and people need to learn how to empower themselves, because in our society, you're correct. This is a very disempowering society, and you're
Yeah.
bringing things in to help raise people up.
Yeah, and we don't know, we don't know what to do. It's not modern life's fault. It's not people's fault. It's just we have a system that's it's not designed to keep people empowered in all different kinds of ways. But really thinking about healthcare, it's a big business, and when people aren't empowered, those in charge of healthcare start making money. Insurance companies, pharmaceuticals. There's side effects, which you need other pharmaceuticals and more visits with the side effects. So the side effects of Qigong, let's say you do Qigong because you want to clear some stress, but the side effects are going to be positive. Your side effects might include better sleep, more vibrancy, more energy, right? Less neck pain, less tension in your body. So we get this cascade of positive side effects with this practice. And it was called the art of preventing disease and prolonging life. And that was the traditional name of Qigong practice.
I love it. Did they do a study about longevity of the people in China who practiced Qigong to the
Yeah.
people who didn't?
There's all kinds of studies on Qigong because it's an ancient practice. Practitioners of Qigong live longer, and they also have a biological age lower than their actual age. And a Western study, and this was done in the 80s on just meditators, their biological age was 12 years younger than their actual age. So meditation is going to be anti-aging, but when you start combining the benefits of meditation, stretching, let's say like yoga, gentle exercise, and flowing movements, that's what Qigong is. It's stretching, flowing movements, mindfulness, and motion. When you combine those, you get this alchemy of movement, this combination that's even has extra benefits and extra empowerment on our health and vitality and on anti-aging.
And let's face it, when we feel good, it's better for our family. It's better for our partners. We want to interact more. But I'm going to put us on hold here, Lee. We'll be right back. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk more about Qigong and all its benefits.
All right, great job. We're all clear. Back in a couple minutes.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
That was good. I like that you brought up the 5 elements of, Chinese medicine and how you've got different movements for each one to balance everything out.
Yeah, that's that. It's really great that creates that well-rounded practice. And we want to have access to all our elements because our elements are superpowers.
They really are. And I wish more people knew about it because, even what you can know in Chinese face reading, how you can then realize where you can support yourself in a natural way just by adding colors, or like if you need more wood in your life, then go out into nature, go take a walk, go stand in the mud or the grass, or whatever it is.
We all need more nature, isn't that for sure?
It is for sure. And I live in North Carolina by the water. And I have to say, I was talking to someone the other day that I never thought I wanted to live by water, but now that I do, I don't know if I'd ever want to live away from water.
Yeah, no, I know. It's just so amazing. Like when you're around water, that peace and tranquility of the water element just infuses everything that you do.
It truly does. And it just,
yeah.
And where we live, it's on a lake, but water is water. And in the morning when I walk my dog, it's just, you go out there and you just breathe it in. It's like, this is just so beautiful. And it's because you can tell where the wind is. Is it like glass on the water? Are you seeing waves? Do you see the fish? And it's just an awareness. It's a mindfulness.
Yep.
So
that's beautiful.
It's a part of what goes with it. Yeah. And I can see why people do Qigong in the elements. Maybe not in the rain or the snow, but
Yeah, right.
Out in nature, because you're pulling in the earth energy, and doesn't that just help the practice even further?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it's so wonderful. Yeah, I love when I teach workshops, we always go into the redwood forest, and I teach, a class out in the redwood forest or, on the beach. So
it makes a difference. And if you're doing it on the beach with the sand, that gives you an extra workout because you have to balance on unsteady surface.
Yeah. You use all those proprioceptors.
12 seconds.
Thanks, Pat. Okay, we'll be right back.
AmericaEmpowerment.com.
You are listening to Guided Spirit Conversations. To reach Marla Goldberg or her guest today, you're invited to call into the program at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. If you'd rather send an email, the address is guidedspiritconversations@gmail.com. Now, back to this week's program.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, I have the great fortune of talking to Lee Holden. Lee has been teaching for over 27 years the powerful principles of Qigong. And through his courses and public broadcasting television specials, workshops, and teacher training, Lee has helped over 100,000 students heal from injury, disease, clear their mind, and open themselves to Qi, which is the flow of energy. So welcome back, Lee. So how are you doing? Okay,
Thank you so much. Been a great conversation.
It has been. On break, we were talking about, I thought we were talking about how much more powerful doing Qigong or Tai Chi in nature, with your bare feet on sand, because it just brings up some more additional earth energy. And so we were talking about the steadiness of doing it on sand. and how you have to really work extra muscles for that.
Right.
And then you breathe
Well, you know,
more,
being in
right?
nature is a wonderful thing. Oh, yeah, you breathe more, you relax. And nature is a great psychologist.
It
You go
is.
out in the woods or take a walk on the beach, all of a sudden you're like, oh, those problems that were weighing heavy in my mind or my heart start to ease up. Now, why is that? You know, there's science behind this. It's not just, you know, we'll get out in nature and hug a tree. But when you get your bare feet on the earth, you discharge oxidation and you bring in negative ions, which is good for all your cells. This is scientific studies now. These ancient practices like Qigong have talked about this for thousands of years, to get out in nature, to bear from the earth. And you can see that the study of grounding and keeping people grounded, and even just 30 seconds of bare feet on the earth, does tremendous benefits to your mind body system with clearing oxidation and bringing in negative ions, which every cell in your body needs. So get those bare feet on the earth, 30 seconds to a minute, longer if better. Go for a walk on the beach, do Qigong outside. It's a great practice for rejuvenation. But yeah, you know, Qigong, for example, originated by watching nature. And unfortunately, we as modern human beings have disconnected from nature. And that's why we get depression. We feel disconnected. And really what everybody is seeking is deeper ways to connect. And we all, you know, thinking of the internet or Facebook or all these things that we do, we're trying to connect. And unfortunately, it gives us a little bit of connection, but not enough. So these things become very addicting because it doesn't quite give you the connection you're seeking. So when you get out in nature and do some deep breathing and connect to the larger sources of energy, source energy, all of a sudden you feel that, and you relax into who you are, you let go of stress, and you replenish. So Qigong is a practice that mirrors the movements of nature. And it was in ancient times called the art of effortless power, because it really mirrored the movement of water, that softness, that relaxation, that gentleness. But also, if anybody's ever stood in a wave or a river, they know how powerful water is. And that's why it is empowering to you.
It is. It's very powerful. So, is there a breathing technique that you could, if you know, we had a listening audience say, okay, go outside, do this breathing technique while standing on the ground, what would it be?
Okay, here's a very simple one. It's called wave breathing. And if you wanted to, if you can, you put one hand on your belly, one hand on your chest. You don't have to put the hands there, but it just gives you a kinesthetic sense. But you start your breathing in your belly. So you bring the breath down low. That accesses your diaphragm. And so when you inhale, you want your abdomen to move out a little bit. And then you want the breath to come into your ribs. So keep breathing in and then all the way up to your chest. So it moves like a wave in the ocean from the depth to the surface. And then it's a long exhale all the way out, all the way out. See if you can exhale even more. And then inhale, belly, ribs, chest. Should be about 5 seconds on that inhale. And then a 5-second exhale. Now, when you slow your breath down, you slow down your mind. When you slow down your mind, you clear stress. And this breathing exercise, about 30 seconds to a minute, starts to shift your nervous system from stress mode, which is fight or flight, into relaxation mode, which is what we're all seeking, we're all gearing towards. And so when you do this breathing practice, you're communicating to your mind-body system. Your mind body really pick up on your subtle cues, and breathing is one of those things. So if you're breathing quickly and in and out through your mouth, you're sending a message to go into fight or flight. So what you want to do is slow down your breathing and breathe in and out through your nose. And if you do that in nature, you are going to be replenished and recharged.
And as a metaphysician, when you do that, you open up your intuitive receptors, because when you slow down your breath and you slow down your mind, then you're able to receive the guidance that Spirit's able to give you. So it works very well hand in hand with that. Some of those
That's
best
wonderful.
ideas.
And I love that term. I haven't heard that before, metaphysician.
Yes.
That's a different kind of MD. Yes, gosh. And you're exactly right, because when you're in stress mode, it's like you have laser focus. When we're in stress mode, remember, stress is fight or flight. That's survival. So you're investing your energy into three-dimensional reality, into your five senses. And when you relax, your perception, it's like going to the wide angle. It's like the panoramic. You're standing on top of the mountain. So you're going to be tuned into your intuition, your heightened perceptions, whatever those might be. And you will get that receptivity when you're relaxed. It doesn't come when you're in stress mode. So there's a very direct path to heightened awareness, tapping into source energy, whatever we want to call it. But it comes from first being in the moment, slowing down the mind, because if your thoughts are too busy, you're not open to receive communication from that higher source. And so there's some very clear steps to get to heightened perception.
And would you agree that if you slowed things down and you're open and receptive, things will taste better, things will smell better that are supposed to smell better? You know, your flowers will smell more authentic to what they are because you're open to what the true smell is, or the taste of a berry.
Yeah, you actually enjoy everything a lot more when you're out of stress, because when you're in stress, you're going to eat fast. And sometimes if you eat a meal, you're like, God, I didn't even taste my food. I just kind of scarfed it down, because survival is going to mean when you're in stress mode, you're going to eat quickly because you don't know if that grizzly bear is going to attack you before you finish your meal. When you're in relaxation mode, it's like, when you're having a really, think of a really celebratory dinner. You have a really expensive glass of wine and a great meal that's you're going to savor it. Yes. So some of those things we want to savor. The best things in life you want to slow down for. You're not going to chug-a-lug that expensive glass of wine just to get it over with. We want to slow down. That's why there is power in slow. That's why we do Qigong slowly. We want to remind ourselves that the best things in life are worth slowing down for, and entering into the present moment and having a moment. We actually want to create our moments during our days so that you become the creator of your moments, that life isn't dictating your state of mind and body for you. You are in more control. You are the conscious creator of your mental, emotional, and physical state of being, and your relationship to life. You design your life rather than life designing you.
I love that, because I look at life, every morning as a blank canvas. You can make it as colorful or dull as you want, but it's a choice, and you can make that choice.
Yep.
So Lee, can you share with us a story of I don't know, maybe a student who came in, or somebody who was not a Qigong person, but who started doing Qigong and their life transformed? Do you have one of those kind of stories? I know you probably have a lot of them, but is there one that would pop out for you?
Yeah, we have, really literally thousands of stories like that. And they come every day. And the stories inspire me in ways that I can't even imagine. And, especially since COVID has started, I've just been able to hear from people a lot more. I do Zoom calls before every class on my subscription, and I get to hear from people how that's changed their lives. So, a man getting a bone marrow transplant, doctors have said, really, we're thinking you have about 6 months to live. And he's flipping through the stations, very depressed. And he sees the public television show that I've had on for so many years. And he just stops. And it's just, it's this guy, me, standing in the middle of a stream, doing these slow movements to some nice music. And he was just like, oh, that looks nice. I wish I could do that. And he just starts going through the movements in his mind, just starts to get into kind of a meditation. He starts visualizing himself doing movements. He orders all the DVDs and he starts doing them in his bed, just on the edge of his bed, whatever he can do, little movements, slowing down his breath, going through the mindfulness practices. And he starts to get more energy. And then he starts doing the practices standing, and he starts to get more and more energy. And he starts doing 2 or 3 hours of Qigong every day. And when he comes back, every checkup he gets, the doctor's like, I wonder what's going on, because you're really doing a lot better than we ever expected. And 6 months later, he's doing wonderfully well. A year later, he's in full remission right now. He is one of my Qigong teachers, and he has so much energy and such a new outlook on life. He inspires me And he's just this incredible human being that has a new lease on life, has into remission. I mean, he tells a funny story. He says when he comes back, when the doctors finally said, yeah, you're clear, no more cancer. The doctor said, well, what are you doing? What else are you doing? He said, well, I'm doing 2 or 3 hours of Qigong every day. And he goes, that can't be it. I guess the bone marrow transplant worked. We never thought it would, but I guess it did. And he was like, oh yeah, right. It was, he attributes it to his Qigong practice and getting out of stress. And, miracles happen when you get out of stress, because it's not necessarily the Qigong doing it. It's that your body has an amazing healing capability that you're not tapped into when you're in so much stress. When you relax and get into the flow, your amazing inner healer starts to turn back on and start to rebalance and heal itself. And that's what we want. We want to tap into the power that's already within us and clear the stuff that's getting in the way, like the stress. And that's what Qigong really does so well. It gets you in touch with your own natural healing power within yourself.
And I'll agree with you. I mean, our ability to heal ourselves is so amazing, but most people don't realize it, and Big Pharma doesn't want you to realize it. So they're going to do whatever they can to dissuade you.
No, they absolutely don't.
I hate to put it that way, but they're going to try and dissuade you from doing something to help yourself and to build yourself up. And I know that the breathing with the movements is just so vital. No pun intended, because it's vital force, but it's just so vital to life, because if you can't breathe, if you don't breathe, what happens?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So,
this practice, here's the good news is this practice really works. And the bad news is you actually have to do it for it to work. So if people are just looking for a pill and something they don't have to co-create, that they don't have to do, it's not that great. It doesn't work, because you actually have to do the practice. You have to commit. You have to invest in yourself. Now, here's the unfortunate part. People invest more time in their money, in their finances, in the stock market. They'll spend way more time on that than their own life force energy. We'll spend way more time on Facebook, on a screen, than in meditation, examining our own mind. So what's happened is we're out of balance. And so what I'm asking people to do is take a little time to invest in your own treasures, the treasures that are within yourself. Take some time to invest in yourself. Do a 10 or 15-minute Qigong practice with a 5-minute meditation and see how that investment pays off. And if you can, do a little bit more, and you will have more energy. When you have more energy, you're more time efficient, you get way more done, and you bring your best self into all the activities that you do.
I love that. And it's so true, because you do bring your best self, and people need, and in general, I think they're so inundated with technology, and they're so inundated with bad news. And then we have the protests, and we have the health issues that people are just, their minds are just like, I call it that wah, 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 wah syndrome.
Yeah.
Because that's all you hear in your head. And this does allow you to break free. It's like people who are tied down with weights, all of a sudden the weights are gone and you can lift your arms. That's what Qigong to me resembles.
Great. That's a great analogy. That's why it doesn't feel like you're carrying your body, like you're efforting through your day. There's a natural flow. And you talked about nature. Yes. Nature moves with effortless ease. If you think about a river at the top of the mountain, it's not all stressed out. It's not saying to itself, oh my God, look at all these rocks. I actually have to go around the rocks. I'm never going to get to the ocean. It's so far away. No, nature moves with effortless ease. It's always in the moment, and we're part of nature. So we've just cut ourselves off from source, and this is a natural return. And when we feel that natural return, we're going to feel good. We're going to feel empowered. We're going to feel strong.
Those are such beautiful words, and they're such true words. And I truly invite everybody to go to Lee's website and check out what his offerings are, because if you watch him, go on YouTube, check him out. If you watch him, you will find that his practice is so valid. And I just, what's the word? It's not invite you, but do the challenge. I challenge you to do this for 30 days and to see how your life shifts. And so go check out Lee's website at holdenqigong.com. Lee Holden was your other site, correct?
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, holdenqigong.com. And I think we do have a free 2-week challenge on there. So if you sign up, you get 2 weeks of my subscription for free, which is great. And that'll, classes will come in your email, and you get to try either the 20-minute or the hour version. You can come online and ask me questions. So it's a really great offering to really just check out to see if this is for you.
And, well, who isn't it for? I mean, this is so natural. It's just a great practice. And I'm a yoga person. So, I'm not saying that yoga is bad, but this brought just a different dimension to my practice. So I know I keep talking about it, but I talk about it because I feel it's true. So
yeah, I love yoga, and this, you don't have to get your spandex or your yoga mat. You just bring yourself in your jeans and whatever. It's a little bit more accessible. So that's one of the great things about Qigong practice. You just show up and do it. It's effortless.
There you go. We need to take a break, so we'll be right back. Stay tuned for more of Lee Holden and Qigong.
All right, perfect. Good segment. Back in a couple minutes.
Thank you. I think we hit some really good points. At least for me, I thought they were good points.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are great points. I think people go. I want people to have that, like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I want to try that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what I wanted to do, and I did it. Now, I mean, now I can talk about it because I've experienced it, and I felt the energy, and I felt the, that zzz vibration going through my body, and it makes you feel alive and vibrant. And it's also great for your skin, and I think it makes you feel more youthful.
It really does.
Yeah.
Oh, that up too, because it's a practice that not what another saying, add only years to your life, but life to your years. Yes. So it's going to be, and I have a workshop. It's on my website. People can get it, but I have a Qigong facelift workshop. It's a 3-hour workshop, and you can find it on my website, but it's an acupressure series and Qigong practice for, a facelift.
I love it. So what by pressing the different points, is it like building extra collagen, which helps with the wrinkle and the sagging and
extra collagen and circulation, pressure points. We do a whole Qigong practice for longevity. It's systemic and specific, so for the face and for your overall health and vitality. Of course, they have to go together.
Yeah, of course, hand in hand. So, well, I know that I've been converted in one morning. So.
Oh, that's great. Well, jump on there, and we'll have to give you, if you ask my team, we'll give you all kinds of free content that you can just grab off the website.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah. It's because sometimes it's where I do my yoga outside. I have my my straps, so I just took my silk up. But sometimes, like this morning, it's so humid in North Carolina. It is like, I'm not going out there to do that. I'll turn into a chia pet. My hair will get this big. So
right.
10 seconds.
I want to see that.
Well, you can look at some past
episodes. That would be a good transformation.
And you can see how big my hair. I started to look like Rosanna Dana.
All right.
Oh, perfect. I love it.
All right, Matt, whenever you're ready.
Sick.
You are listening to Guided Spirit Conversations. To reach Marla Goldberg or her guest today, you're invited to call into the program at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. If you'd rather send an email, the address is guidedspiritconversations@gmail.com. Now, back to this week's program.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for sticking around. But if you're just tuning in, I have Lee Holden with me, and Lee has devoted his career to teaching the powerful principles of Qigong, and that's over 27 years of education. And he took his classes from the best masters in China. Would that be correctly? Okay.
That would be correct.
I'm getting it, yes. And, he has helped over 100,000 students heal from injury and disease, calm their minds, and open to flow and live a vital and a life filled with vitality through the ancient art of Qigong. But before we start getting into conversation, it's charity shout out time. So Lee, your charity is the Sierra Club. Why the Sierra Club? What do they do that you feel that everybody should jump on the bandwagon?
Well, I love that. I really appreciate that, because I know Qigong comes from nature, and the Sierra Club is one of those groups that is really focusing on healing our planet. I mean, we have to take care of nature. Nature is our extended body. It's our extended energy system. And without nature, no humans, so let's take care of our planet. Let's take care of this beautiful place that we live. I mean, to the Qigong masters of the ancient time, they said that Earth is a heavenly place with its rainbows and its sunsets and its animals, and with the ability to experience love and joy and all these blessings that we have here. Let's take care of it. Let's nurture it. Let's treat the earth as a good friend, as a family member, and really develop a harmonious relationship. I think we can do that with all our technology. I think we can really develop technology that is supportive rather than combative to nature, the animals, and quite frankly, each other.
I agree. And I think it's a great organization. And since COVID has taken place, I'm sorry to say, it's horrible for the humans, but for the animals, for the fish, for the world to heal, the planet has been able to have a respite and has now been able to heal just a little bit, which is good for our children, our children's children, and their children, etc.
Yeah. I mean, if we can just get the technology to a place where we can be driving electric cars, using solar power, start to do the things that we already have the technology for, but really implement that. When we see people coming together with the pandemic, I think we could see people coming together to heal the planet and to prevent these catastrophic things that we're seeing in nature. Fires here in California and tornadoes and heat. We're seeing things in the nature saying, hey, we're out of balance.
We're seeing the roads just open up and collapse in because of all the fracking.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. We're like, okay, wait a second. We got to prevent problems from arising. We can't just be so focused on money that it blinds us to our future. And so I think that's going to be so important, and it's going to take a shift in consciousness and shift our mindsets, and for us as human beings to do some different things on a global level. And I think we can really create that shift, use our technology for that collaborative relationship rather than combative relationship with nature. And man, I'm just, my thoughts and prayers are in that focus, because I have 3 beautiful children and 1 on the way. So,
congratulations.
Well, thank you. I'm invested in seeing this world be a beautiful place for years and years to come. So let's hold our highest vision of what we can to the world. What is our highest vision? I know we focus so much on the problems, but let's have a call out to hold your highest vision of what the world can be. And there's a lot of potential in us collaborating and holding that high vision of the best world that we can live in.
And let's take it a step further, but not only having a vision, put some money where your mouth is, keep so that we can do the things we need to do to heal the planet. So we can then, because if the planet heals, there's also human healing. You have less destruction, less
absolutely.
Deaths because of it. So that's the sierraclub.org.
Yeah.
So you were telling me about searching for humans, superhumans.com. Can we talk about that a bit?
Yeah,
Okay.
Searching for Superhumans is a docu-series. It's a 3-year movie-making in the makings. It's still going on program. I've just interviewed Deepak Chopra, Dave Asprey, Wim Hof, Tammy Simon, Reverend Deborah. I just interviewed all kinds of wonderful people in Searching for Superhumans. And what we did, we went around the world for 3 years. We went to the caves of the Himalayas. We went to the martial arts masters, the Qigong masters, the yogis. We went to India, Australia, Russia, the psychics from Russia. I tell you, it was incredible. And we filmed people with extraordinary abilities. So you can see all of that and get also a free scene at searchingforsuperhumans.com. And you will see what we discovered, because it was extraordinary. And really the takeaway is that our human potential, we're just scratching the surface. And what we found was these practitioners of these ancient traditions, whether it's yoga, meditation, breathing exercises, Qigong, martial arts, we found people that could do things that most people can't. And it was extraordinary. So I'm so inspired by it. I ended up being the producer on this project. And it was, it's been 3 years and we finally released it online. And the reason we did that is because I had so many teachings, so much education. So I wanted people to actually be able to use the information that we discovered and put it into a practice. And so there's 9 episodes of the Searching for Superhumans, and then there's going to be 10 or 15 episodes with experts like Deepak Chopra or Wim Hof, with practical exercises, meditations that people can do and really tap into their inner potential.
That's wonderful. How long is each segment? Is it an hour series? Each of your episodes?
Each episode is between 30 minutes and an hour. Yeah,
Nice.
and most of the interviews are about we break them down into 30-minute segments. So it's very consumable. It's very inspiring. Those first 3 episodes really were going to be the movie. Originally, this was going to be a documentary and a movie, and it still will be. It's just that, like I said, we just got so much content. I didn't feel right about getting all this wonderful secret teachings and not sharing it with an audience. So that's what we did. And now, we're going after major distributions, whether it's Amazon or Netflix. We're still in negotiations, but for now it's available. And that's the beauty of the internet. We can put content up and really make it available in my vision of what the programming should be like. And so we got all kinds of behind the scenes stuff. And this story follows my colleague. So I went and, I was telling you, I went to Thailand to work with Mantak Chia and write books for him. Now, my colleague, another young man at the time, because I was 21, he was about 19, Mantak Chia commissioned him to go find masters from all over the world. So he just paid for his trip to go hunt down the best masters from around the world and bring back their teachings. And so this guy made it his life mission. He'd been doing it for 30 years, and he found incredible masters. So we follow him through this journey of meeting these masters. And there's really over 150 people that we could have chosen to be in the film. And we have about 10 or so examples of masters that are doing just incredible things for their mind power or, energetic power, healing abilities, spiritual abilities. It's incredible.
Well, I know I'm going to tune in because it sounds fascinating. And, I'm sure you're unearthing, in a way, people that might not be like everyday brand names, but who are so powerful in what they do.
Oh, yeah.
Exposing
These are the
people to them.
unknowns. The people that we found, nobody knows, haven't heard their names. That's why I also wanted to go to the scientists. I interviewed neuroscientists like Bruce Lipton and Dan Siegel and Deepak Chopra. Then I interviewed, energy masters like Wim Hof and Donna Eden, and owners of publishing houses like Tammy Simon. And we just got their thoughts on what the human potential is. And I think it's a great exploration. And that's what the film really does. It's exploring our human potential, whether you believe in it or not. It's not really to convince people. It's really to awaken their minds that, hey, what is my potential? What do I really want to do in this life with this precious life force energy that I've been gifted? What can I create? What can I tap into? And so it's designed to inspire, to educate, and to really open our minds. It's a little bit like in the Matrix when he asks him, do you want to take the red pill or the blue pill? And this movie is opening your mind to something you probably didn't think was possible.
That's amazing. Well, so for you out there, searching for superhumans.com, watch this docuseries. It sounds amazing. I know I'm going to tune in. It's a long weekend, so why not? Right? It's Labor Day weekend coming up.
Absolutely.
So
Hey, we're stuck at home. Let's do something for ourselves.
exactly, qigong in this movie, this docuseries. Sorry, docuseries.
That sounds like a great weekend to me.
Just some popcorn, and there you go. And Lee, thank you
That's
so
right.
much for participating in my podcast today. I am so grateful that you're here. I love the information, love what you do. Thank you so much. So,
Hey, thanks so much, Marla, for having me. It's a great conversation, and I just love opening people's minds to their potential and the possibilities that life has to offer.
and there's so many, right?
Yep,
So,
indeed.
thank you. I want to thank everyone at Voice America for all you do for me to get this show up and on the road. Thanks to Bridget, my assistant, my right hand, my left hand. I want to thank you, the listeners, for taking the time out of your day, out of your life, to be a part of this podcast, whether you're listening to it live or listening to it as a replay. I am just so grateful for you, because without you, my show wouldn't be. I just want to remind you of my sacred journal, which just came out in July, which is a support to my effing long journey to loving myself, a guide to a shorter path. Sorry about that. I just had a brain freeze. I also want to remind you, please, please, please be socially considerate. You don't know what somebody else is dealing with out there, and it's Labor Day weekend. So please wear your masks in public. Please take care of some of people around you, because you just don't know if they have one of those invisible illnesses. So till next week, I send you love. I send you blessings. I send you gratitude. Thank you so much for being here. And take care and have a very fun and safe Labor Day weekend. Take care.